the only one who thinks it's hilarious, but he asked me to do this nonetheless, and I'm happy to do it for him. There's not many people I would get up for at this early in the morning, but my dad is one of them, especially when you've been up all night feeding the baby. But I love my dad, and that's why I'm doing this. So, but I do have 3 little ones, and so needless to say, I don't have time to, take a leisurely stroll or read a good book and think about all the inspiring thoughts. It's really rare that I even get to drink a hot cup of coffee. So even if that's all we get out of this is that Brittany got to drink a hot cup of coffee, we're good. So I have to gain my inspiration from other places, like, my kids, and things like overnight oats. The other day I opened my overnight oats, and on the bottom of the lid it says, "You are what you repeat." And I thought that was a cute play on words. Usually it's "you are what you eat," but on there it said, "You are what you repeat." And then I got to thinking, that is so true. We are what we repeat. A lot of times we think, oh man, I want to be this, I want to do this, but we do it occasionally. Aristotle says we are what we repeatedly do, therefore excellence is not an act, but a habit. So you rarely are excellent at something that you start right away, right? So if you want to be an early riser, like my dad is trying to get me to do by doing this vidcast, you have to repeatedly do it to be known to yourself and others as an early riser. If you want to get in shape and be somebody who's really good at their fitness, you can't do it once or twice every other month. You have to repeatedly do it. You are what you repeat. My husband, so he was, when my second child was born, so this was 2.5, almost 3 years ago, he decided he didn't want a dad bod. He's now a dad of 2, and he's always been into fitness. I highly doubt he was ever going to get a dad bod, but he was like determined. I am not going to let myself go now that we have kids. And so I was like, do it, babe, do whatever you need to do. Little did I know, to him that meant running every day at least a mile. So rain, sleet, sickness, whatever it is, snow, below zero weather, my husband is out there running. And I counted up the days last night, 915 days. My husband has been running every day. That's awesome. Like, do you know anybody who has that much determination? And by any other name, my husband is a runner, right? But on day 1, I mean, he was already running before that, but say I decided to do that. You couldn't call me a runner if I started on day 1 because I haven't done it enough. But on the 915th day, I am now a runner because I have proven myself. And I think that encouraged me when I read that, is that all you have to do, you don't have to be excellent at something at first. You just have to repeat it. Practice makes perfect, right? And we're not even looking for perfect. We're just looking for repetition. And it's really cool that we can start off something and not be so good at it, but then the longer we go, the easier it gets, and the more we gain that repetition, more we gain some strides, and then that's who we are. If you want to eat healthy, you just have to start somewhere. I look at it as I have always admired those people who are men and women of prayer. Like, they are just prayer warriors. And when I was younger, I just admired them. But then I decided, who's saying I can't be a person of prayer, right? So I just started praying. Like the Bible says, pray without ceasing. In every little thing, I just kept praying. Like, it wasn't like I had to get alone and create a whole prayer closet. If it was on my way to work, or even between meetings at work, or while I'm up feeding my baby at night. And by the grace of God, people have said that is one of my spiritual gifts, is prayer and intercession. And I that's taken a while to get to that, but now it's one of my favorite things that I get to do is pray for others, pray for my life. And if you want to be known as a man or a woman of God, it just takes some time. I also thought about it on the flip side, how the enemy uses this phrase, you are what you repeat. Because how many times have you just had a moment of weakness? I know, 3 kids. I have moments of weakness all the time. I lose it on my kids sometimes. Let's just throw it all out there. So I'm not doing anything that DCS should be called, but I'm definitely, I raise my voice and I have no patience sometimes and I lose it. And the enemy can come in and say, you're a bad mom, and tell me you lost it. Look at you. They're going to remember this forever. They are going to need counseling one day because you had a moment of weakness. And he starts labeling me because of one moment of weakness I had. And, whatever your thing is if you don't feel like going to church because you just had a hard week and you choose not to go to church, not to go to your hub, whatever it might be, and then the enemy says, you're a bad Christian. You didn't go to church. I knew it. You were just going to backslide. You're a bad Christian. And when we have one moment of weakness, the enemy tries to convince us that that's who we are. He labels us. That's who we are. And can I encourage you, whatever your thing is, when you have moments of weakness, that isn't who you are. We are sinners, but we are saved by grace. And I think that is the part that people forget is, yes, we are all sinners. Every single one of us. We are born into a world of sin and we are sinners, but we are saved by grace. So therefore, we are children of God. That is who we are. So when the enemy starts trying to label you something that you're not, that you've had a moment of weakness in, maybe it's you gossiped about someone, don't let him label you a gossiper. Don't let him label you a bad mom or a bad Christian. Remember who you are, and then go back to what you know and repeatedly do that. Repeatedly go to your hub. Repeatedly be kind to your kids and love them and show them that, yeah, moms have moments of weakness. It sucks sometimes, but we do. And then they know, like, oh, my mom's awesome, right? But she just has moments of weakness like we all do. So I just want to encourage you guys with that. First and foremost, if you set out to do something and you want to be known as something, an early riser, somebody who works out, really into your fitness, but more importantly, on the stuff that really matters is being a person of prayer or a Christian who just is extremely generous. It has to start somewhere. And then you're going to notice it, and then eventually people are going to notice it, and that's just who you will become. And then on the flip side of that, just remember, your moments of weakness don't label you. God labels you, and he's labeled you a child of God. Pastor Jay's book is all about that. I am a child of God, and I love that book for that reason. Is it doesn't allow us to take on the enemy's lies and label us by his lies, but it labels us by who God says that we are. And so just remember that you are who God says you are, and you are what you repeatedly do. You are what you repeat. So thank you guys for letting me spend the morning with you. It's been fun, and I'm actually gonna pretend I'm still out here like chatting away, but I'm just gonna enjoy my cup of coffee while my husband takes the kids for a few more minutes, because mama needs a break. All right, love you all. We will talk to you on Wednesday for another one of these vidcasts. All right, we'll talk to you soon.